Hey y'all, Daniel Aaron here, your guide to vibrant living. And yes, indeed, fasting is, I would say, one of the top keys to creating a vibrant life. And what I've come to do, and actually here's a side tip here, is for years, literally years, I said to myself, you know what I want to do is 4 times a year, solstice and equinox, each one I want to give myself a cleanse. And what would happen is year after year, I would somehow sort of forget and get busy and then think I was going to do it, then it not happen. So 2 years ago, it finally occurred to me, put it on your calendar. So I did that. I put it on my calendar, and then boom, since then, every year. And what I do is a minimum of 3 days. And I do 3 days of water, just water, or maybe green juice if I'm doing that. I have done extended 15-day noni juice fast before. I've done coconut water fast. I've done cleanses with herbs. Right now, I did 3 days of water and then 6 days of just spirulina. And now I've added in a little bit of essential oil and raw cacao. And I'm just doing blended right now. So many possibilities. And really what you can think of as fasting is just choosing something or taking something out or being focused, restricted about what you're doing. For me right now, I'm also adding to it by using some various herbs or herbs in the US to cleanse out my colon, and psyllium husk as a bulking agent, which kind of goes in and sweeps through the colon. Now, why? What's the point? And it seems a bit extreme if you haven't yet experienced the benefits of this. Simplest way I can say it, in yogic terms, there's a focus on cleansing. Saucha is the word for it. And keeping our space clean, keeping our bodies clean, keeping our mind clean, our emotions clean. Everybody knows that in our home, in our office, on our desk, wherever it is, if we don't periodically clean it, it just starts to clutter up and get busy, and it crowds us in, and it restricts our creativity, it restricts our ability to be productive, it restricts our enjoyment. And equally true on the inside of us, even though we don't normally see the inside of us, that area gets crowded as well. And if we're eating things that are less than fantastic for our health, it creates something called mucoid plaque, which is to say, a friend of mine put it this way: if you lift weights, right, and you do this thing, you kind of build up a callus on your hand. When we eat foods that are not suitable for us, that are difficult to digest, acidic foods, meaty foods, processed foods, then what happens is on the inside of our colon, our intestines, which you can think of simply as a big tube, starts here and comes out, yes, the other end, and it does a lot of things. If that inside of that tube gets a bit rubbed roughly with the foods that are less than excellent for us, what happens is it develops a lining, a callus, mucoid plaque. And so what the herbs do in the cleansing process is they go through and they kind of scrub at that, or sandpaper it, or file it away gently in this form. You can do stronger ones like bentonite clay, and there are lots of different forms of this. And then the bulking agent, in this case for me psyllium, and lots of variations on this, comes through, and once you've kind of swept it out, it's kind of like vacuum cleaning. Okay, you dusted, now you pull it out. All right, now what happens when we start to empty out? Typically in fasting, the first few days for most of us is a bit difficult because we are addicted to eating. We're used to it mostly on an emotional level. And we start to get cravings, and our body says, hey, we haven't eaten in 3 hours, 4 hours, come on, time to eat. If we stick with it, we ride through that, then we get to some really magical space. We get to the point where we don't feel like we need to eat. And oftentimes I feel like, why do I eat? Why do I invest so much time in buying food, making food, putting food away, cleaning up food, thinking about food, making a menu? There's a lot, right? So once we get into that space of beyond the food, well, one, time opens up. two, our connection to spirit or creativity, to our intuition, gets honed. Right? It's like sensitivity. If you use the analogy of the house, if there's so much stuff around, then it's hard to notice things because it's overwhelming. Same in the body. And some say that the colon, the intestines, are like the second brain. So when we start to empty that out, what we get to is a very pure, light space where answers come more quickly, the brain works more easily, the emotions get more clear. It's such a beautiful, light feeling. And all of that said, if you are new to it, I recommend that you start small, get some help, do it in an assisted way. There are lots of great counselors, nutritional counselors, fasting counselors. There are centers. It can be unsafe if it's done in an unhealthy way. So always start small. And if you're new to it, highly recommend you don't go for just water. Go for some green juices as well. That'll give you a bit of energy, but still keep things moving along, and that's what you want. All right, enough said for now. I hope that is helpful. I hope it's interesting. If you got any questions, let me know. And I appreciate your interest and commitment to the vibrant life.